Here we are, roasting 101. I have a bunch of different produce out in front of me and even some beans because roasting is one of the funnest ways to add a different flavor to vegetables that you already like, or maybe you don't like them, and once you roast them it brings out the sugars and all the different flavors just marry a little bit differently, like cauliflower for example. Some people just don't like cauliflower. Some of my family members specifically don't like cauliflower, and I roasted it up and we put some buffalo sauce on it. We made, our traditional, what we would put on our wings, but we put it on roasted cauliflower, and let me tell you that the bowl can't empty faster. Does that make sense? All hands going at the same time. It's a fabulous, fabulous substitution for chicken wings. I'm not against having chicken wings, but sometimes you just want that heat and that spice. So instead of getting out the chicken or getting out the grill, if you just want to roast up half a cauliflower head, throw it in the oven, roast it up, and then what I do is I make it all in one bowl. I'll put a little bit of butter, some hot sauce, or you can add your buffalo combination however you want. Maybe you like straight Tabasco, maybe you have a concoction all your own, but try roasting up some cauliflower and making some buffalo cauliflower wings. I also have some chickpeas, sweet potatoes. You can roast up some carrots. Broccoli candy is really nice, and Brussels sprouts, dark greens, asparagus is also really, really good. It's a big crowd pleaser, especially for my daughter. When she was younger, she just used to love eating each stick from the flour down to the bottom. You can make kale chips. You can make apple chips, and you can also roast fruit. Roasting fruit, stone fruit, like fruit that has the seeds in the middle, like pears, plums, peaches. You can really, apple pie, hello, that's roasted fruit. You really can get creative in the oven. What I like to do is, when I'm gonna use the oven, I like to use the oven. So I might have a couple different things going at the same time. So remember, especially right now in Florida, it is warm. You just want to make the most of it. So things do vary. Obviously, the harder the potato or the harder the vegetable, it's going to take longer to cook. I don't know if I would mix a kale, which requires a very low temperature. It's low and slow. You're almost dehydrating the kale. And if you do a chip with an apple, you could do a red beet chip, you could do a sweet potato chip. You can slice them either with your traditional box grater, slice them right there, or you can get out your mandolin and slice it. Some people have even a smaller pocket version of the mandolin, and it works really good. You just want to have like 1/8 of an inch, lay them all out, and this is also where stoneware comes into play. This stuff is fabulous for roasting vegetables and fruit. I have a little bit of everything. I think I've roasted in all of these pans. But what I'm going to show you today is roasted chickpeas. These make a fabulous travel snack. I made hummus earlier, so I took half a can and made a little dish of hummus. So this is what was left. It's not a whole lot, but it's just enough to fit in my little roaster. Makes a single layer. Now you can use coconut oil. I like olive oil on these. I don't think that I have a lot of controversial fats in my diet, so I don't mind using some olive oil, and I try to buy a better brand. But if you want to use coconut oil and it's not 90 degrees like it is today in Florida, what I would suggest is don't dirty a pan and melt your olive oil. Just get a microwave, not a microwave, but like an oven-safe dish, like the glass dishes that I always use. Pour, or even if you're gonna roast on a container like this, pour a little bit or spoon out, depending how cold it is at your house, spoon out a little bit of that coconut oil, throw it in the oven, let it melt down, then toss your veggies in it. So saves a step. Don't waste some dishes if you don't have to. All right, so we're just gonna get in here, coat these babies up with a little olive oil, and then you can season these with so many different things. If you want them to be salty, obviously salt and pepper. If you want to add some cayenne, add some hot spice, and make them more of like a peppery snack, you can add, oh goodness, a squeeze of lemon and some pepper, make like a lemon pepper. Anything that you can dream of, you can put on these. And chickpeas are so buttery, you probably could do something sweet like a cinnamon too. I wouldn't put the salt on, but you might want to just play around with them. And again, these are already not roasted. Before you roast your chickpeas, they're already cooked. So you can't go from the dry bean to the oven. You would have to soak them, roast them, cook them up so that they're ready to go and they're perfect. Then it like dehydrates them. These are great for traveling so that you have something that really keeps you from getting hungry. Throw these in the oven. I cook them at 400 because my oven's all set. I cook them at 400. They usually cook up 25 minutes, half hour. Just look and taste them. Don't be afraid to taste them and see how far you want them to go. Maybe you don't want them rock solid. Maybe you want them a little softer, but just enough so that the flavors change and it, sweetens them up slightly. All right, while those are going, I'm also gonna make a sweet potato. Sweet potatoes you can peel, or sometimes I'll just scrub them and then I'll start chopping away. I don't necessarily always peel my sweet potatoes. I absolutely love sweet potato fries, but even more so, I love roasted sweet potatoes. The key when you're cooking vegetables, just like when we're making a salad, keep them the like size. So don't take off a big chunk and then chop everything else in little bitty pieces. So make sure, I always make faces, so I'm sure you guys are picking up on that already. Make sure you keep the sizes of your chunks about the same. I find that if I cut them into little 1-inch squares like this, they cook really well. Each of the sides gets a little bit of flavor on them. So I'm going to do these the same way. A little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper. But these are really good with coconut. The coconut oil gives a really nice taste, and it's completely different. And depending how pungent your coconut oil is, will depend on how much coconut flavor you get. When I make these, we'll often really add some cool flavors to them. So we'll just go spice cabinet diving, and we'll see what floats our boat. We might throw some rosemary, some thyme, we might put like an herb de Provence blend on here, or a grill type of blend. So if it's something that you like on meat, you might want to try it on a really sturdy fruit or vegetable. Don't put grill on your fruit. You guys will definitely find that I always say the wrong word, but that's me. That's how I am, and I can only apologize so much. All right, so flavor them up, pop them in the oven. Again, if you want to do kale chips are the same method. Chop them up a little bit, maybe take the stems off, take the stems out. Oh, that one didn't slide as well. I probably wouldn't cook up the stems. Cut them up, arrange them on your stoneware. I wouldn't go too small because you want them to be able to be picked up. Coat them with a little olive oil, spread them out, and they are at your lowest setting. They're at about 200, and then you're going to bake them slow so that they just dehydrate and they turn into a chip. A lot of people just put salt and pepper. You can put cinnamon. Cinnamon's really good on kale. Nutritional yeast, so it gets a cheesy flavor. A lot of people definitely put nutritional yeast and some spice. It's like a cheesy, spicy kick to them. You really can do so much. And then apple chips are the same way. You can do your apples, lay them out. If you want to put a little coconut sugar on them, maybe put some lemon juice, toss them in some lemon juice before you lay them out, some cinnamon, nutmeg, definitely, and you will have some roasted apple chips. Sweet potatoes, if your oven is at 400, and if they're cut about that size, it'll take about 20-25 minutes. If you want to roast other parts of your dinner, or if you're making something else and your oven's at a lower temperature, like 350, they're definitely going to take 45 minutes to an hour. So remember, the lower the temperature, the slower they're going to cook, and they're going to be softer. The higher the temperature, they're going to heat up pretty fast, and they're going to soften pretty fast. So they're going to get a little bit crispier and have more of a crisp on the outside. Broccoli, carrots, they all do pretty much the same. You can cook them, and the cauliflower, cook them pretty high and fast if you want to get some nice roasted vegetables out in about 20 minutes to a half hour. Remember, when you're eating veggies, always mix it up. You can have fresh, you can have some roasted, you can have some sauteed, add them with your greens, add them with your beans, put it all together, and it's just what I call the kitchen sink dinner. All right, so my sweet potatoes came out. They took about 25 minutes. Now remember, you can use these like croutons. I know a lot of people that really like their croutons on their salads, but when you roast up fruit or vegetables, anything, you can put fruit on your salad. Why not put roasted fruit? You can put these chickpeas or roasted sweet potatoes on your salads. Remember, you can roast up any kinds of squash. Butternut squash, acorn squash. You can make white zucchini and yellow squash medleys. You can roast them, you can saute them. Whenever you eat more vegetables roasted, like I said before, it brings out the sweetness, it brings out the natural sugars, and it changes the flavor of the vegetable. A lot of times when you add more roasted vegetables into your diet, you find that your sweet tooth goes down. So for all of my sugar addicts out there, add some roasted veggies, especially ones like sweet potatoes, carrots, some really good fibrous broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, like I said, is really good. What else? Brussels sprouts is another one. Completely different taste. And with the Brussels sprouts, you can add a garlic butter topping. You can add nutritional yeast. You can just change the flavor so much when you roast it. So don't be afraid to dive in to add more roasted vegetables. You're going to feel better, and especially when it's cold and a cold salad isn't going to keep you in the winter, adding in some warm sides of roasted vegetables really helps balance out that heat and coldness in your body. I know in the wintertime, I want warmth. So sometimes I'll crave more meats or more hot foods in the wintertime. So here's a good chance that if you're in the colder climates or in the down season of the temperatures, add in some really good roasted veggies. A lot of times I just use it as a side dish to my big kale salad. Sweet potatoes and kale, it is so good. So then these little guys, not completely, but dramatically changes the flavor. Before they went into the oven, they were more buttery and bland. And now I would probably throw some garlic powder on them, maybe some onion powder, and really flavor them up a little bit more than just the salt. But they're like little buttery nuggets. You can put them in a ball jar, mason jar, take them as a snack on your next trip, or leave them on the counter, and I guarantee they're gonna go pretty fast. So roast up some veggies. Remember to add it to your other meals. Stay healthy. See you in the next video. Thanks.